Good morning. This is Ali Atto, coach and instructor with BestLife Creation Society. This is my morning, one of my little morning talks, and today we're going to talk about trust. So for the next few weeks on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, if everything works out for my mornings, I want to be here with you just doing just a little bit of like a devotional or a little talk about a topic, and then coming together to do just some breathing or meditation, or maybe some different things that we can be kind of thinking about throughout our day, just to help us get our morning started, get our weeks going, all of that beautiful and good stuff. So today I want to talk about trust, and how important trust is when we are intentionally and joyfully creating our best life. So you'll hear all of us talk so much about the importance of feeling as good as you can in a moment, and then seeing if you can feel a little bit better. Part of that is because we know the best indicator of what our future is going to be is what we're putting out right now in the present moment. And along with that, really does come this component of trust, like trust that the universe, God's source, really does have your back. And I was listening to an Abraham Hicks audio about this recently, and it just was so beautiful. Those of you who have been on any of my classes or followed me at all know that really the thing I'm most passionate about is helping people reconnect to their inner being, their source, God, higher power. And it just was a beautiful concept to think about how important trust is in this whole process. Because really, a lot of times we'll say, well, we're trusting when we're saying, I'm going to choose to feel good. And maybe all the time that's not it's just a very general feeling. And I'm going to trust that I don't have to constantly, every second of the day, be intensely thinking about the things that I want. Now, this is something, if you've come up in a lot of personal development, they talk about constantly having your goals in front of you, writing them down, having them out in front of you. And if that feels good to you and it doesn't feel like you're pushing, and it doesn't feel like the lack of it is stressing you out, if it's joyful and it pulls you like into the present and into this like daydreamy, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for these things to come into my life. If it does that for you, then you're on the right track. But I found for a lot of people that constant push, 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 focus, focus, focus actually pushes them back further emotionally and vibrationally from what they want, because they maybe haven't learned to shift into enjoying the thing before it's here, which is creating those feelings and emotions, or appreciating what they have already. But more than anything, it's that knowingness and that trust that the thing that they want, the thing that they desire, whether it's financial freedom or emotional freedom or great relationship, that God source, pure love energy has already gone before them. It's already picked up as soon as they knew they wanted it, picked up on that and created a space for that to be a real tangible thing in that person's life. Good morning, guys. Nice to see you all. So this is where the trust factor comes in, is that we're really not alone in creating the life that we want. And the more that we're able to just enjoy our present moment, enjoy feeling what we're feeling, enjoying getting into fun, daydreamy spaces where we're allowed to just expand on our feelings even more. And actually, the easier things come to us a lot of times. We've kind of been taught we have to kind of rationally think our way through everything. But I actually have been finding that life is so much easier when something comes to me and either I don't know how I feel about it yet, or I don't quite know what I want to do about it yet, or I don't really see the pieces coming together, to just hand it over to God, hand it over to the universe. And that takes trust. That takes a knowingness that there is something out there that will support the things that I'm requesting in ways that I can't really even fathom how it all comes around. And what I love too about, this particular Abraham that I was listening to, is they're saying, test the heck out of this. See if thinking good thoughts, if it starts creating better things in your life. Test it. See if it works. They weren't shy of saying that this is something that you have to experience. And you hear Abraham say quite often that words don't teach. It's life experience that teaches. And this component of trust, this component of being able to hand things over to the universe, that's something that we learn over time. And it's something that if you don't feel like you've had like a strong connection to your inner being or to universe, source, God, that it's perfectly fine and okay to start building that trust over time for little things. So some examples could be, if there's things that you want in your life, and especially it works really nicely for things too that maybe you don't have like a ton of resistance on right now. Like it could happen or could not happen, but it would be nice. So this phrase, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if I got a parking spot? Wouldn't it be nice if someone bought me flowers this week? I've done this before. Wouldn't it be nice if someone bought me flowers this week? And it could happen. It could not happen. It wasn't like, wouldn't it be nice if I got $1 million? Because I would have a bit more resistance on. Not everyone does, because to the universe, flowers and $1 million, they're not really that different. But starting with small things like, wouldn't it be nice if someone bought me a cup of coffee? Or wouldn't it be nice if, I've done this a lot with physical things. Like just recently, my bicycle got stolen maybe 3 years ago. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to get a new bike? And I started just kind of imagined what it would look like and what it would feel like, because I love riding bikes. And I did this like, oh, yeah, that would be so nice. And I just floated it out there, right? I've had this happen so many times. And I know probably you guys have too. It's just starting to become more and more consciously aware of this. And like within 2 weeks, one of our neighbors had a bike they were getting rid of. And it was like the perfect bike for me. So many things like that. And you know what? I could have gotten a bike or not gotten a bike. No big deal. So I didn't have a lot of resistance. So it just came to me quickly. And I could trust that when I said, wouldn't it be nice, and just kind of handed it over to the universe, you figure it out. I don't really want to put any more attention on it. If it comes to me, great. If not, well, it'll come to me somehow. That's kind of where I'm at now. It's not like if it comes to me, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. It's more like, yeah, it'll make its way to me somehow. And, the way that I allow it to come to me the fastest. And this is part of this trust thing too, is the more that I'm able to give over and say, universe, I don't know how these things will come. I don't really care, because I trust that you're going to figure it out to my best benefit and the best benefit of my family, and everyone around me. And the more we're able to do that, to trust that we really can spend most of our focus on feeling good, feeling as good as we can right now, looking for the best feeling emotion. If we have something come up in our life that doesn't feel good, to not sweat it, just be like, well, this is just helping me realize what I do want, and that's fine. And that trust that, you know what, this source, love, energy, God, can bring me back to feeling good. You know, you can even surrender those feelings of, okay, universe, help me out here, feeling pretty angry or feeling a bit dejected. Can you help me find my path back? So it is this constant dialogue and this constant, you know, of being able to kind of give these things over. And I love in Abraham Hicks' book, Ask and It Is Given, they talk about having this universal manager. So imagine if you had like $1 billion company and you paid a manager a very good salary, like $500,000, to kind of take care of your life. Now, you would expect that if you said, here's this thing, can you take care of it, that that person would take care of it for you, right? And so they're saying you can kind of think of the universe this way. You can trust that if you say, can you take care of this for me, and hand it over, that somehow it's going to come back to you in the best possible way. So that's where the trust factor comes in. And the thing is, the more that we know we can hand over, like joyfully, blissfully, the more that we, sometimes people use the word surrender, but it is this like kind of this unloading. Um, you know, the more things come around to us. And the more that I get into this habit, the more I just see incredible things come in. You know, I'm not quite sure what I want to do about some health issues. Universe, can you help me find something that works for me? I was having an issue with my son. I didn't quite know how to parent him through it. Universe, can you help me find a solution? End up having like a wonderful conversation with him yesterday. You know, if it's financial issues, health issues, again, you know, little keys in how to make relationships go better. Can you help me see something better? So we can spend actually less time. The deal with the trust is we can spend less time with our mind spinning, our wheels churning, trying to figure everything out, and shift a lot of those things. If we're feeling a lot of stress or uncertainty, it's okay, it's safe to hand those things over, and then just try to focus on what feels good to you. Because if you focus on what feels as good as you can in the moment, that means that you're in a higher emotional state, and that you're less resistant to whatever answers the universe has coming back around and delighting you in your day-to-day path. So what does Jen say real quick here? Trust is key in feeling okay, good, satisfied with where you're at. Absolutely. So, hi, Chip. Go get it too. I love that. So, what I want us to kind of, and what I am really mulling over and just kind of enjoying. Oh, I'm going to actually say this too. What I've noticed, the more that I have been able to trust and hand things over when I don't get them or they're just not ready yet, is that when it's time to kind of think about something and figure it out, my mind and my inner being are so much more aligned. And I love figuring things out. I'm a little bit of a science nerd here and there. Every once in a while, I'll come out with a weird reference on these things to something scientific. I like planning. I like thinking about structure and, how to, I love creating courses. I'm that kind of person. I like to organize stuff. When I'm in this practice, though, of letting the universe have the things I don't quite get yet or don't feel ready for me to really get into, and I allow for the things that do feel good, that do feel ready, whatever that happens to be, then there is this increased synchronicity between my mind and that presence of source, that presence of my inner being. So then, it feels to me like my mind just gets engaged in a much more functional and joyful way. And it is incredible. So I'm saying this because I know sometimes it can feel like You know, you're saying like, just be in the present moment and just shirk your responsibilities. It's not that. That's again with this trust factor of, you know, when you can stay in the present moment and feel good and trust that the universe can sort out those details for you, um, then actually when it's time for you, when that thing is ripe, when it's ready for you to work on it, or you know, maybe you don't even have to because the universe works on your behalf and all these components just suddenly come into your space and are in front of you, and you didn't have to push for it, you didn't have to slave for it, you didn't have to kill yourself over it. They just came together. And I know this is really different than a lot of the things that we're taught, but I know at Best Life, we're just seeing more and more and more evidence of this being the case. The more we can hand over, the more we can feel good, the more we can trust and allow and let things come in, then we are beautifully and joyfully surprised. Surprised, but not surprised, because their knowingness that all good things are coming, are here and coming, just increases. I'm going to read a comment from Jen, and then I'm going to just do a quick little reading. Jen says, there is such an incredible sense of relief and well-being that floods over you when you hand things over. Oh, so true. And actually, that ties in beautifully to the little thing I want to read today from Manifest Your Desires. So it says, before you can effectively benefit from paying attention to your emotions, you must first accept that well-being is the only stream that flows. Okay, so well-being, this is saying that God, the universe, source, there is only a focus and a stream of well-being, love, acceptance, like the desire for everything to go well for you, flowing down to you. That's it. There's nothing else. No judgment, no, you know, no judgment, no anger, no disappointment, just well-being. Well-being. So you get that first. They're saying if you kind of start to get a taste of that, then, you know, you'll really even understand more the benefit of paying attention to your emotions. It says you can allow or disallow this stream, but when you allow it, you feel well. And when you disallow it, you feel sick. In other words, there's only a stream of wellness which you are allowing or resisting. And you can tell by the way you feel which you're doing. So I love this. It is, again, that point of, man, if we can just slowly, not slowly, but however pace you need to take it, if you need to at all, it's just learning through life experience that this trust, that you can trust the source that has nothing but well-being for you. And then you really have the freedom or the relief of being able to hand some of the things over that might be weighing you down, and enjoying creating those feelings that you know are what you want to feel even more in the future. Like, it just gives you the freedom to really enjoy the present moment, to enjoy your life, to take every moment out of it. And anyway, it's wonderful and beautiful. So if this is new to you, you know, I always recommend starting to meditate if you can, because meditation helps kind of calm you down and helps you be able to hear that inner space, that inner being. I'd also say, you know, you might try with something little that you don't have a lot of emotional resistance to, or like even a lot of desire for at this point. So, you know, that thing like I did when I was first starting out with this, it'd be really nice if someone bought me some flowers this week, or it'd be really nice if someone paid for my coffee, or you know, it'd be really nice if I saw a butterfly today or sometime this week. You know, you don't need to put time frames on it necessarily, but just open those things up. Wouldn't it be nice? You know, and try, if there's something in your life that's a bit like you're noticing that you're kind of thinking and thinking and thinking about a lot, and it feels heavy, pay attention to your emotions there. try seeing what it feels like to say, I don't know how you're going to do this, universe. I'm handing this over to you, my universal manager. Can you sort this out? Right? And you can start again with something small and see how that feels, right? And then watch and see how it gets sorted out. And listen to your feelings on this, because you'll start to feel when you can, or when it's beneficial to take action on that thing. Because, you know, maybe it has to go, there's stuff happening behind the scenes for a while. And then you might start feeling like, oh yeah, this is the thing I need to do now. And it feels satisfying or expansive in some way. And then somehow all the things just come together. So, you know, pay attention to those things, because that's how you build that trust. Just like in any relationship, right? You have little things that you start to learn, and then as things go on, those feelings or that ability to trust will grow. So I think for now, why don't we just take a minute or two to connect in with God or Source, you know, and take some deep breaths together and just set a little bit of an intention for this morning and this week, and then we will wrap it up. So if, you know, don't do this if you're driving, obviously. Take a second, deep breath in and out. And if you can, just quiet your mind just for a second. Try to find that connection to God, Source, inner being. I usually think of coming down, like kind of dropping down from my mind and into my heart area. And if you want to increase your ability to trust, just say that in your own words. God, I want to learn how to trust more so that I can live the life that I was really created to live, full of joy and expansion, and yes, sometimes contrast as well, sometimes things I don't want, but also knowing that you can help me, you know, through those moments actually get more than I ever dreamed or desired. And think for a moment if there's something that you can trust Source with this week. Is there something that you can hand over and say, can you just help me with this? Can you figure this out for me? It's not that the thing is going away. It's still right there with you. You're not giving up on it. You're not shirking responsibility. Just hand it over to your manager. Let them sort it out. So if something comes to mind, just take a moment and, you know, sometimes I imagine putting it up on a shelf and letting the universe pick it up from there. You might imagine it in a different way. I know one of my friends imagines it like sending a breath or sending a butterfly out to the universe and letting it float away. So if you have something like that, you know, let that thing come and just release it to the universe. And just take a second to allow yourself to bask in that stream of well-being that's there for you. Nothing but love, joy, acceptance, approval, excitement for you. That is the stream of well-being that is there for you to participate in as much or as little as you want to. So that is there for you guys. And that's something that if you have a spare moment here or there in the day, you can drop into, and, you know, you can check in with yourself. Are there things that I can hand over today? Are there ways that I can use you know, I can utilize my trust and my relationship with my source so that I have a better day. So I have a day where I'm feeling better most of the time. And it's those little moments between moments that can really change the course of your day. So that is it for me for this morning's Start Your Day the Best Life Way. Thanks so much for joining, and I will see you guys Wednesday morning. All right, take care.